Hello, welcome to Tony's Bonsai. I've got a young Scots pine tree here. I think it's about 3 years old. It's quite boring and straight, and I want to do some work on it today to make it much more interesting. This tree was one of 3 that I bought, of 3 different varieties. One of them I needed for a future video project, and I just had to buy this, and I'm quite glad it came. I think it's interesting, and there's something very specific that I want to do with it. We've got some nice buds here. Obviously we've got this lower branch. We've got the higher branch right up there. It's way too long. And one of the channels that I enjoy is a Japanese channel called Bonsai Q. And the guy on there is very experienced, and he puts some really interesting bends into the trunk. And I'm going to have a go at that today. He's an old Japanese guy on this channel, and he does some fantastic work. And a lot of time he doesn't actually use raffia. He uses like modern plastic tapes, and so trying to sort of copy what he does, I'm going to use something similar, which is my vet tape. This tree came with a tiny little root ball. So I potted it up yesterday into this bigger pot. In hindsight, I think I should have probably left it until I'd done this work. So I've come up as high there as this bud. Let's keep going. I'm going to come round the back of the bud and carry on up the tree, leaving that bud uncovered like that. I can then continue just to work my way up the trunk here, just avoiding catching any needles or anything from this small branch at the back. The guy on Bonsai Q who does this, it's called like something with a H, Horihimu or something like that. He's a really nice old guy, very knowledgeable and very skillful as well. I love watching his videos. It can be quite hard going because you have to have the subtitles turned on and try and interpret sort of what's being said, because the translation is not by any means accurate. For example, for some reason, well, it translates marmee as bean, because obviously you can get the marmee bean. So when they say the word marmee, I presume the computer or YouTube or whatever it is presumes they're talking about the marmee bean. See, that's the root ball. There was no point in me putting it in that pot, but it don't matter. I'll repot it up after I've done this. There's a danger to doing this kind of work to a tree, a definite danger, because I could easily kill it. However, if I don't do something with this trunk, effectively the tree's no use to me. You know, I don't want it as it is, just like a big long straight pine. Like that. You know, it's never going to be a worthwhile piece of material for me to work on, so I'd rather gamble and see if I can do something with it, which is what I'm going to try. So I've wrapped this vet tape round now. I'll just tie the end off. I'm getting soil all over my floor, but it don't matter. My cleaner's coming on Monday, otherwise known as my mum and my sister. Right, so that's tied up now, and I can apply some wire And I want to get some really quite severe movement into this. So I want to apply a double coil of relatively thick wire. To stop these roots drying out while I just worked on them, I've just run them, just a bit of water over them from the tap. Not a lot, just a bit of a dribble. And I can just twist this round then like that, and it just keeps those roots moist while I do this work. And I've got my first piece of wire here. So I like to leave a piece for me to hold while I apply the wire. Obviously I can't stick that in the roots, it's not an option. And round I go. So I just start off with a nice coil, working my way up like that. Lovely. So nothing too crazy there. Just a piece of wire. Once I've done that, I can then just take it around the base a bit as well. Like that. Now for another piece. I do the exact same procedure of just coming around the trunk. I run it in between the other piece of wire. I don't run them side by side. I'm looking for that extra support. On the videos, the guy on Bonsai Q, he uses copper wire. He's a proper old school Japanese bonsai artist, so he knows what he's doing. But what he's done is he's inspired me to have a go at really getting some proper movement into a tree like this. I've tried in the past, but I think it's time to really go for it. If it snaps and dies, so be it. Now, it's naturally, when I lie it in the, well, it came like this in the pot, so it's already going off at an angle. And I'd like to start off by increasing that movement. I really do want to get that nice low movement there. So I think perhaps if I take that wire around a bit further there, this will allow me to get the real kind of might be asking a bit too much of a trunk this thick, so I'll just try and, there we go. I'm just using my finger and trying to bend the tree around my finger. It's quite hard to do. I know you can't see much there, but what I'm doing is, there, see that? So I've really got that moving, which is great. That's what I wanted. I wanted that nice low movement. So I've really bent that over nicely. And what I can do now is I can apply a twist and take this back up. And so the wire's twisting this way. So because the wire's coming this way, I can twist and come round like this. So the idea now is that using my thumb as the pressure, I can come round and I'm twisting, really twisting and bending. Oh, go on, go on. Right, now that's looking good. Very happy with that. I don't just want a corkscrew, so I don't want this coming across round. And actually what I can do, I've just thought about it now that I've got this to push on, I can probably there, get that coming downwards there, which is what I want. There we go. So that's good. Now, as I said a second ago, I don't want this just corkscrewing round. I don't like it when it does that. So I think now that it's come up tight, I want it to go back down. So using my finger here as a fulcrum. Go on. There. So we've now got it going across, down, up, round, and we've now got this bud that's on the surface, you know, the one that I deliberately left. I want that to be in a good place, so I can now twist the tree back towards me, putting that onto the outside of a bend hopefully. So, twist, there. That's working nicely. I need to just bend that down because it's hurting my finger a bit. So go on. There. So we're getting somewhere with this now. This is developing. I can hopefully now put this branch here onto maybe the outside. So by twisting the top section there, like that, like that. And I've avoided the sort of corkscrew, which is something that I definitely wanted to do. So although it comes round and then round again, because I put this bend here in, and I can go back to that bend now and just squeeze these in with my hands. There. So I've just exaggerated that bend again, which means I've definitely avoided that kind of corkscrewing effect, which I didn't want, which is good. Get that, reinstate that bottom bend a little bit if I can. No, I don't want to risk damaging the roots, so I think for the time being now, we've got a tree. That's it. Whew, that's like a workout. It's a bit tough on your hands as well, but yeah, happy with that. I'll now remove this cling film. Get rid of that. It did a job, that. I've got my heating on, so you know, I definitely didn't want them to, those roots to dry out. They're still obviously nice and wet and moist now. I won't do any work on the roots. I'll just put the roots in the pot there. Put some of my bonsai soil over the top. Push that down, and this is really quite unstable now in this pot. So what I am going to do is put some ties in it to tie this into, so it's fixed in a nice solid state, because I won't want to be doing anything with this for quite a while now, and I want it to just, you know, have a healthy year and grow on nicely. To stabilise the tree, I'll just drill a few holes at random. There. And you can see, even just with that bit of movement there, it's just falling out of the pot. You know, this is not, this wouldn't survive like this, rocking about. But by tying it on, and what I can do is yeah, I can just loop it round. So through the hole there, under that tree, get that in position, which is there, pull that tight and twist there. So that's held there. And I think possibly 3 points of anchor should do the job on this. So I've got one there. Oh yeah, definitely one here. So round and through this hole, like that, and then just twist it like that. That's the second point of anchor. And with 3 of them, a bit like a stool. You know, when they're on 3 legs, they're always very stable. So if I can now use this hole here, twist that, yes, that's it, lovely. That's nice and solid now, that. So that's not going anywhere in the pot. With a bit of luck, I'm hoping that this branch here will be the new apex of the tree. I'll probably cut it off here in the future. I certainly wouldn't do it now. For the time being, I'm happy to leave this to grow on. And I think I've definitely managed to get some interesting movement and shape into that tree. Well, that has to go down as a success so far, providing it survives. But even if it doesn't survive, the techniques that I used, I've really managed to create something that I think is quite interesting and I'm really happy with. If you want to follow the progress of this tree, obviously you know what to do. And I'll be updating you and showing you how this gets on in the spring. As always, thanks for joining me. Have a great day and I'll see you soon.